First, I'd like to shout out Shelly N for sending me this particular story. And this is coming out of a place called Saskatoon. I'm not exactly sure where that is located, but I'm guessing that it is in Canada since that's where this story is being reported from. But in this picture, you see a man by the name of Philip Michael Chicoine. I'm assuming that's what it's called. And he has received the longest ever sentence for that area. And he was a child pornographer. And they said he had a vial collection. So basically, this guy was recording kids, and probably himself, engaging in sexual acts. And he was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Now, it's crazy because they said that's the longest sentence they've ever given for someone for a crime like this. So it makes you wonder, how many times have they not sentenced somebody for this crime? Or what was the highest one before this 12-year sentence? But let me get into the story. Calling his crimes horrendous, a Saskatoon man has been sentenced to 12 years in prison after pleading guilty to 40 counts of possessing, producing, and sharing child pornography. Philip Michael Chicoine, age 28, remained expressionless during his sentencing Tuesday in a Saskatoon courtroom. He did not appear to make eye contact with his parents, who sat in the front row. His collection was vile, said RCMP Corporal Jared Clark, the lead investigator for the Saskatchewan's Internet Child Exploitation Unit. It was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. It caused nightmares. It caused me trouble dealing with my own kids at home. Last spring, Chicoine admitted he paid and directed parents overseas to sexually abuse their children in real time using video streaming sites such as Skype. Now that's some sick shit. And they need to find the parents who did that and get their asses too. In June, the Crown presented videos in court seized from Chicoine's computer. Many involved the torture and bondage, with the victim's screams heard throughout the courtroom. His victims ranged from infants to children 14 years old. In the exchanges, Chicoine indicated he preferred children who cried during the abuse, complaining about the difficulties of finding pedomoms. This guy is crazy. He was found to have more than 580 unique videos and more than 4,000 unique photos. In total, 10,126 videos and 4,714 photos were in his possession. Chicoine admitted that he spent more than $20,000 over 5 years to pay for the online exchanges. In her 30-page sentencing, Judge Vanessa Menor Inwini cited Chicoine's unusual and significant violence against children and the need to denounce and deter sex offenders. Chicoine's sentence is the longest ever handed to a convicted child pornography in Saskatchewan. In March, Chicoine was arrested, put on suicide watch, and segregated from the general population at the Saskatoon Correctional Center. The judge also recommended federal prison officials incarcerate him at the Regional Psychiatric Center in Saskatoon. She says Chicoine has no prior criminal record and has been assessed as a moderate to high risk for being charged or convicted of another sexual offense. The defense argued Chicoine felt remorse and empathy for his victims, noting he was previously ostracized and intimidated both at school and at the workplace. She also ordered Chicoine to stay away from children for 10 years following his release and to refrain from participating in any social work, online forum, or chat rooms. Prosecutor Lana Morelli said the investigation into Chicoine's case began on Valentine's Day this year when police came across a single pornographic image uploaded to a computer address in Saskatoon. Chicoine was found to have texted children as young as 10 directly in Florida, Australia, and Saskatoon. At one point, a 14-year-old texted him and said she might kill herself. Chicoine replied that he'd want her to film the suicide so that he could watch. Wow. This guy has no filter. Morelli said police raided Chicoine's home while he was preparing to travel to the Philippines to engage in direct physical abuse with preteens and toddlers. The Internet Child Exploitation Unit said children in the Philippines were rescued last week as a result of work done on this case. Knowing that we had live victims still at risk was tough. It obviously pushed the envelope on us, really having to work diligently and expeditiously to get the case put together as quick as we could. That part right there where he said that to tell the girl to record her killing herself so he could watch it, that shit blew my mind a little bit. I know we always say don't be surprised by some of the stuff that they do, but that one right there kind of caught me up also off guard. You actually this guy actually would have found pleasure in seeing a girl who was sexually abused kill herself. He found pleasure in that. And as you can see by his emotionless face on this image, they need to put him in general population and let them have their way with him. That's all I could really say. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments about this sick ass story and this sick ass man. Like, share, subscribe, have your notifications on. The links are in the description.